So we have two fields growing right now. Right here we've got our row of cucumbers. These are coming in behind what we used to have snow peas there. And then we've got some pretty great looking kale. We've got Russian kale, and then some curly leaf kale, which is pretty fun, and some Swiss chard. And we've got this rainbow kale, which I love because it's super tall, so it doesn't really wear out your back, and it's kind of unusual. And it's a lot of fun to grow, and it does really well here for us. Next we've got a succession of green beans that are coming in finally for us. And a little farther on down the row we've got some cilantro and some lettuce that are starting up. And we've got a couple different kinds of potatoes. These are the tail end of some red Maria potatoes, which are pretty delicious. And we're going to whip around here. And here's the rest of the potatoes. We've got, again, some red Maria on the left, and then some Elba and German Butterball on the right, which are a late season potato, which is pretty exciting. And we've got more Swiss chard, which is pretty big. We've really had a very rough season because of too much rain this year. June and July we saw in a couple week period more than a foot of rain, and then another 5 or 7 inches in the tail end of July. So we fought a lot of fungal diseases and other kinds of pests that really multiplied. The last couple weeks it's been very dry, which has been a big plus for us. But it's been a lot of catch-up for us, and we've lost a lot of crops. These beautiful red things are bull's blood beets. You can see they're getting a little weedy now, but we grow them mostly to sell the beet greens, but the beets themselves are also delicious. We've got another new crop of beets that are looking pretty good, some fall beets. And then you can see back there we've got some cosmos growing, and then there were supposed to be some calendula that are finally coming, but again, the water really slowed things down for us. So a lot of places we thought we would have several successions of plants, and really are only just getting one out of a spot. Here we've got our sunflowers, which are really great. People at the market love them. And then we've got some carrots, which is pretty fun. So we're going to take a walk over to our other field. So this one is a 1/4 acre. We grew, the one that I'm walking on now is where we grew last year. Our vegetables, and they were pretty fun. This year we have twice as much land to grow, which is a good challenge because the exact same number of daylight hours in the day, and I only have so much hours that I can be here. But it's been fun. It's been a challenge with the weather. This has been, many farmers say this is one of the hardest years we've ever had for growing things because of the really difficult challenges early on. Here we've got some a new round of zucchinis that are growing, some cilantro and green beans, got some parsley and rosemary. We've got some dinosaur kale here. And this is kind of interesting, you kind of see the result of all this water. Like this field that we're in now drains really poorly. So this whole section, probably 1/8 of this field, is all just turned to grass now because it was so wet we couldn't get in here with the tractors to plow it up. And then once it was here, there was standing water here, so we lost all our early beans, we lost our lettuce, we lost our onions, and just the list goes on and on. Over here we've got the tail end of, that's my hand, we got some tail end of some basil, which again kind of is becoming a victim of some of this fungal stuff. It has some basil downy mildew, which is kind of a good example of agriculture being affected by climate change. This is a disease, a fungal disease that didn't exist in New England until about 3 years ago and has come up from Florida with some of the warmer temperature as climate has modified. Over here we've got some watermelons, which is very exciting. Here's one right here. That's a sweet Dakota rose, which is very kind of exciting to see growing. We've again had some trouble with some disease problems and withstanding water around these watermelons, but we'll see if we get some of them. I think watermelons are really hard to grow in New England especially. Here we've got some winter squash. Again, It's got some downy mildew, which is kind of a pest problem that, again, is kind of related to some of the weather problems we've had. Got some more sunflowers that'll be ready in a few weeks. A couple of them are getting really tall, which is kind of exciting. This is a row that used to have basil that they took out, but now has late season greens and some green beans. Here you can see we've got a nice succession of golden zucchini. These are Goldie. They're bright yellow zucchini, and they're just wonderful. They're very tasty. And then we start up with our tomatoes. Over here we've got just a little half row of Valencia tomatoes. These tomatoes went in a little late, so they're a little smaller than the rest, but you can see they're going to have a lot of fruit on them soon, which is pretty fun. And we've got some peppers here, and this is pepper I'm most excited about over here. This is an Italian, a Spanish sweet pepper, and you can see it. I think it's called a pequeño. The plants are really struggling. We've had too much water in these fields, so now that things are starting to dry out, and we're able to fertilize around the roots, I'm hopeful that will come back. Last year we had a lot of great peppers, but those peppers are kind of unusual and they don't grow a lot of them in America, so we'll see if we can get some growing. Here we've got some hot cherry hots for peppers over here, and gonna pan over here. We've got some Fresno chilies that are starting to turn red, and they're kind of beautiful, nice long peppers, which are really fun. And we've got, I love to grow peppers, and last year we did super well with them. The weather was just right, and so these are some jalapenos that we planted literally in the mud this spring. And we'll see. They're starting to give us a little bit of fruit. These are some zucchinis that are kind of on the end. You can see they've kind of gotten a combination of various fungal issues. Here we've got more peppers. These are a Thai matchstick chili. They're really, really pretty pepper and very hot. We like to string these up at home and dry them out, and they make a beautiful kind of long red string of peppers. They're both decorative and you can use them. Over here we have our husk cherries, and a lot of people have never even had a husk cherry, and they're this little yellow fruit. It's inside a husk, and you open it up. Let's see if I can do this in one hand. And it looks like this. It's a little, almost like a little yellow tomato, but they're sweet and almost a little pineapple-y, and they're delicious. So these plants are really big. We grew these in our garden last year, and I don't know, they were maybe a foot tall. These are 2 or 3 feet tall and have a lot of fruit on them, which is very exciting. We have more peppers here. We have serrano peppers, which are a really nice hot pepper. People like them a lot. I like them. We've got some Cubanelle peppers, which is a sweet Caribbean pepper, which we like to grow. Sweet peppers kind of struggle in this field, but they're doing okay. And over here, you can see there's some more slicers. So those are not heirlooms, but a standard slicing hybrid tomatoes. The big ones are Celebrity over there, and the small ones, small red ones, are New Girls. They seem to be a really good producer, a nice early small red tomato that we like very much. Down here we've got some New Mex hot peppers that, again, really suffered from the weather, which is too bad, and the poor soil that we have here. They actually make a rainbow on their plant. In ideal conditions, and I've seen some of these, they're a very beautiful, beautiful bushy plant with a multicolored peppers all over them. And we have more tomatoes, super fun. And then we get into the heirloom tomatoes, which is the ones I really like. You can see these tomato plants are really big. It's a whole kind of tunnel of tomatoes. These are brandywines down here that are about to turn red. And these tomato plants have gotten, I don't know, they're probably about, some of them are taller than me, so they're about 6 feet tall right now. And just really doing well, despite all the challenges we've had. Our only tricky part with the tomatoes has been they've been ripening a little late for us this year. Partly we have a little bit of shade, and partly just because of the weather conditions. So we're probably about 1 to 2 weeks behind where we normally might hope to be, maybe a week. You can see lots of tomatoes, and they're just gorgeous. I'm very happy with them, and they're delicious. That's what I'm eating for lunches these days, is just straight tomatoes. So you can see we have the row of slicers, then we have 2 rows of heirlooms, nice big rows. And some of these have just gotten enormous, especially the paste tomatoes. And I just love seeing them on the vine. These are Granaderos, and they are very heavy producers. This is a new variety that we had never tried before, but they just are going nuts, which is very fun. They're kind of they're a strictly paste tomato. They're tasty enough, but they're nice, thick-walled, little juice. They're going to make some great sauce. And then we've got these, which I really like. I don't know if you can see them in the shade. This is a striped Roma, which actually we weren't planning on growing at all, but there's kind of a mix-up with the seedlings that we bought that we thought these were an Amish paste, but they turned out to be the striped Roma, which are delicious, very sweet. Can use both as cooking or as salad tomatoes. And again, I just like this big kind of a tunnel of tomatoes that we have growing here, and they're a very vigorous plant right now. And the last thing we've got going is tomatillos. We've got, and there, tomatillo plants are kind of crazy. You think of them kind of as a southeastern plant, California, New Mexico, and Mexico, but they grow really well in New England. As you can see, they're probably, I don't know, close to 6 feet tall, very bushy, and we have 2 full rows of them because we have some orders due to our CSA that people really like them. But you see, we have lots of fruit in them, and this end of the field has done really well for us, and it's been very fun. So yeah, half an acre. It's both not a lot really compared to any, you know, serious commercial farmer, even in New England, especially out in the Midwest or West. Most farms are far, far bigger, but it's a lot for one small family to manage. You know, it's mostly me doing it during the week, and Tracy and Noah help out on the weekends, which has been very fun, having them up here. And it's just a good excuse to be outside, get some stuff done, and it's really enjoyable to get to sell things that you started from seeds. A lot of these seeds I started in my basement, and that's been kind of cool. So I don't know if I can make this happen, but again, I'm Pat Gabridge with Pen and Pepper Farm, and thanks for joining me on this little tour of our little farm.